San Francisco! Welcome to Free Talk SF. I am Steven Zeiler, your host. Joining me is the fabulous Derek J.
Hello.
And you're listening to Free Talk SF. That's freetalksf.com. San Francisco's only show dedicated to freedom, empathy, and independence for all people of San Francisco. That includes you.
And you.
Okay, today we want to talk about the San Francisco election, the ballot. Well, normally I wouldn't vote for political office because I'm not in favor of telling other people that they have the right to rule over me and make decisions on my behalf, especially in the city government. There are a lot of proposals on the ballot that need to be addressed, and some of them need to be shut down, some of them need to be approved in order to maximize freedom and independence for people in San Francisco. So we're going to go over that. I got my ballot here. I got the English-Chinese ballot, so good thing I don't know Chinese. Derek, have you voted?
I have voted before, yeah, but never with ballot measures. I think that's kind of exciting, and one of the unique things about California is that pretty much anyone can propose a new law as long as they get like 10,000 signatures from residents.
At least in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's a lot of ballot measures. There's direct democracy. So
There's more of an opportunity for the random person to participate in government, so to speak.
Yeah, your voice might actually make a difference. And it's great because in a lot of places there are bad laws on the books, and obviously to say that there are laws in the books and there are bad laws in the books is redundant. But in a lot of these places you can't change them because there's not a lot of direct action ability. And like in Texas, the legislature meets every 2 years, which is great in a lot of ways because they can't create more laws, but also you can't get rid of bad laws as fast. Like in New Hampshire, they should have been repealing the pot laws, but it's a conservative, slow-moving legislature. But we have the ability here to directly influence the laws without representatives, which I think is interesting, to say the least. Okay, so just first off, we've got all these people for, looks like mayor and sheriff. And I checked out these people for sheriff. One is the sheriff. One of them. Which one is the sheriff? I don't know who the sheriff is. Maybe it isn't one of these people, but one of them is an ex-law enforcer who now runs an independent law enforcement, or not even a law enforcement agency, an independent security firm. So go him. Great job creating an independent business that creates wealth for paying customers. Please don't vote. Please don't run for sheriff, and please don't vote for this guy. That's John Robinson. Don't vote for him because we need him running private security forces. No need to have that disrupted by the state, right?
You're doing way more good in the private market than you could do in the public sector.
So keep it up, John Robinson. I hope that you get more business, but don't take my money to enforce your laws. All right, so I'm not going to vote for anyone on mayor.
Why not? Why not just not vote for Ed Lee? Isn't he the incumbent?
Ed Lee's the incumbent. What were your thoughts there?
Well, just, most people are going to vote for the incumbent, so give the other guy a fighting chance. Give them a little bit of a chance, because we know the current guy has the most chance of being elected. So by voting for the alternative, you're taking away a little bit of that chance.
But I don't want to vote for a mayor at all. I would rather vote no mayor. Like why even give credence to the concept of a mayor when I don't want one?
You could write in Donald Duck.
Well, I don't want Donald Duck to be the mayor.
Okay. What about yourself?
I certainly don't want to be mayor. I don't want any mayor, so maybe I'll just write in blank mayor.
But there's a guy, remember, Broke Ass Sean, I think is his name. He's running for mayor as well.
Okay, broke ass Sean is running for mayor. Is he here?
No, I think he might be a write-in.
Write-in. Well, it sounds like broke ass Sean. I like him. What, he's a homeless guy?
No, he's just a regular Joe.
Regular Joe. He wants
to help the homeless, and his number one problem, he said, was all the poop on the street. He said that there should not be human poop on the street, and he wants to clean that up by allowing homeless people to use bathrooms. I think it would be great. Like, maybe we could talk to broke ass Sean and be like, hey, you should let there be like bathrooms that people could pay like $0.25 or $1 or whatever to use, and it could be clean, self-cleaning. That's how he should do it.
Yeah, I like that. If broke ass Sean could get behind private bathrooms that you can charge for. These private bathrooms in Switzerland and Germany were awesome. They were like 50 cents to use the bathroom. One other thing I would like to see is the police cleaning up the poop.
Yeah, I mean, they're just standing around bothering the homeless people.
And they're harassing people on bicycles. Yeah, have them do something useful. So maybe we'll write in broke ass Sean, but I'm not sure I'm going to vote for mayor.
Police with pooper scoopers would give new meaning to cleaning up the streets.
Cleaning up the streets. Your men in blue for you. That's silly. Okay. Well, what I really wanted to talk about, I wanted to compare what the we got a flyer on our door for what was it, to tell us what to vote for if we support the teachers union and a bunch of things. I don't actually support the state unions because they want to have more of my money going to support their cause. And I'm all for educating people, but I want choices and options, and I don't want you to take my money to pay for things. I would rather pay for them myself. So what? I'm going to run and get that real quick.
Go ahead and get that. I'll read off the first ballot measure.
Yeah,
this is Proposition A. So listen carefully. San Francisco Affordable Housing Bonds. The titles are often deceiving. So what's affordable may be interfering with the market and making things not affordable. To finance the construction, just right off the bat, the first two words lets you know that they want more of your money. So let me guess, the union's people wanted more of your money? They said yes on A?
Well, why don't we go through the ballot measure and then guess what the union people
all right, let's see. They say, this is a long one, but to summarize, to finance the construction, development, acquisition, and preservation of housing affordable to low and middle income households through programs that will prioritize vulnerable populations such as San Francisco's working families, veterans, seniors, disabled persons, and assist in the acquisition, rehabilitation, and preservation of affordable rental apartment buildings to prevent the eviction of long-term residents, to repair and construct the dilapidated public housing, to fund middle-income rental programs, and to provide for homeownership down payment assistance opportunities for educators and middle-income households. Shall the city and county of San Francisco issue $310 million in general obligation funds, subject to independent citizen oversight and regular audits? Yes or no?
Well, so I want people to be able to live here and afford to live here, especially if they're great people and they contribute to the community. Especially, I would love people to be independent and be able to own their own houses. So we have all of these low-income housing requirements where the city will subsidize part of a building to be low-income housing, and then the commercial manufacturer of the building will own the building and get the city funds, and then charge rent to the low-income people. All right, so that's how it works now. Honestly, I don't think that these the low-income buildings, the people who own these apartment complexes, they're not helping the poor, the low-income people by charging them rent at all. They should be really promoting ownership of homes, home ownership. Obviously, we have a huge problem with taxation here. It's impossible to own a home because you'll be taxed out of your mind. But if you look at these subsidized buildings, they've been heavily subsidized for the low income. That means the commercial real estate people are getting a lot of our money. It's not, they don't really deserve to own those buildings, in my opinion. I think the people who are living there should just get to own it. Let's say, rather than creating more low income housing with other people's money, let's take the buildings that people have built and just let the people own it that live there.
You mean if they buy it?
Look, they've been homesteading it because the company that built the big building, they don't deserve to own that building.
Why not?
Because they use stolen funds to do it. Right?
Are you sure?
They took our money, confident. I mean, look, this is just another replay of previous bills that have passed that have funded with stolen money the construction of these buildings. And this is probably being pushed by the large commercial real estate developers anyway.
Because sometimes it makes more economic sense for the poor to rent because they could save more money by renting. They could keep more of their take-home pay and reinvest it in themselves or put it in their savings, and then maybe later buy a house with all of their money when they're not so poor. I know when I was really poor, I liked renting. I couldn't afford a whole house, certainly couldn't afford a mortgage, but I could afford to rent and then take home some money. And with that money, I was able to reinvest in myself and become wealthier.
Well, why wouldn't you be able to afford a mortgage? That actually doesn't even make that much sense to me. Like, if you could afford to rent a place, why can't you afford a mortgage?
Sometimes sometimes it makes more economic sense to rent. Sometimes the prices of a house are dropping, and I don't want to buy a house when the house is going to be worth less than what I bought it for.
That's understandable, though that's not the case here. And also, people might want to, it might be cheaper to rent if you're moving around a lot, but this is talking about people who are here for a long time. Honestly, I really think that we can get a lot of value out of home ownership. And the city is not promoting that at all.
That brings up an interesting point. When people own a thing, they tend to take better care of it. For example, a person renting a car doesn't get an oil change. But if you own a car, you're more likely to get regular checkups. So the same logic should apply to a house where you're going to inspect the pipes and get regular checkups for your house if you own it.
Yeah, so I think that we can do a lot better to assist low-income people by maybe giving them ownership of the houses that they have been homesteading for a long time. Like, why should someone who's been subsidized be able to foreclose on a person who's been living?
So your argument is that for properties that were gifted by state money, meaning stolen funds, to low-income people for decades, the people who have been living there for decades have been homesteading that property that was purchased with stolen money. The people who own it don't have legitimate claim to it, so the people who live there do, and they should just own it right now.
That's my point. I think that's how it should be, especially with stolen funds. What are we going to do? Evict them and then sell the place and then give the money back to the people who pay the taxes? I don't know. I mean, that's an option.
It's an impossible task because those people might not even be here anymore.
Yeah, there's no way to know. And the goal here, if you want to achieve the goal, maybe don't tax people who own homes and give the homes to the people who rightfully control them. I like that, but I don't want to see more of my money going to real estate developers for other people's houses. I don't want that. So I'm going to give a resounding no to Proposition A.
No.
And let's guess who was this? It's the SF Tenants Union and United Educators and many more.
I already made my guess from the first two words that said to fund.
To fund. Okay, so
no.
They wrote yes. All right. Moving on. Proposition B, shall the city amend the charter to allow parents who are both city employees to each take the maximum amount of paid parental leave for which they qualify for the birth, adoption, or foster parenting of the same child if both parents are city employees, and to provide each parent the opportunity to keep up to 40 hours of sick leave at the end of paid parental vacation. So this is a law that only applies to city employees, though it means that everyone is going to be paying for city employees to take parental leave. Two parents, both parents get to take parental leave if one of them, or if they have a child, both get to take parental leave.
This is a difficult one because in practice, I am all for parents staying at home to raise their kids. And anything that allows that to happen, I should be in favor of. But on second thought, this is money that is not given voluntarily. This is money that is coming from coercion. So I can't support this. You know, they should stay home and raise their kids, but they shouldn't steal from you to do it.
Ah, yes, good point. They shouldn't be city employees in the first place. But given that they're going to be paid either way. I would almost rather the city employee do nothing. Like, I would rather them raise their child than bureaucratize my life.
Yeah, you know, this should extend even further. Instead of 40 days, it should be like 400 days.
Yeah, you get 2 years off paid leave. That would be much better, I think.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. So, but
you can't replace them. You can't just add another employee to take their job.
This will, of course, subsidize creating of children.
Yeah.
And then we'll subsidize people becoming city employees. But if they're already employees, I would rather them not be doing their job.
Yeah. It's like I would rather cops be hanging out in donut shops than shaking people down for smoking a joint.
Yeah, and cops are city employees, so yeah, much better to have them raise their kids. I'm going to go with a yes on this.
Yeah, I would pay city employees to do nothing. I'd prefer they do nothing than do evil.
All right. Okay, great. So, and let's, what do you think that the union says about this one?
Oh, they definitely say yes. I think we're in agreement.
They're totally in favor of this?
Yeah,
okay.
Don't you think?
Oh, they didn't say anything
they didn't
about
vote
this
on
one.
this one.
Okay, so they abstained from this one.
But you have the opportunity to do some good here when you vote. November 3rd.
We're probably going to be out of town. Oh, it's a mail-in.
No, we'll be back.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's look at C, because I believe they did provide an answer to C. Shall the city regulate expenditure lobbyists by requiring them to register with the Ethics Commission, pay a $500 registration fee, and file monthly disclosures regarding their lobbying activities?
No, I think all lobbying should be done in secret.
So lobbying,
it's all going to be done in secret anyway.
What is lobbying? Lobbying is trying to get the state to do something.
Yeah.
Or stop doing something.
Right.
I don't like this because it requires, first of all, monthly disclosures require city employees to do something. And they have to read them.
The $500 registration fee. For what? What does that go towards?
Probably a bonus for the people who are reading through the
you know what it sounds like to me is, oh, hey, you want to lobby for us? Yeah, that'll be $500.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, instead of just handing over the stack of cash in an envelope under the door, now they're just putting it directly into the city employee's hands.
And the cash under the door.
Right,
on top,
right,
on
of
top.
course.
So I'm going to go with a no. This one is ridiculous. And what do you think the union says? This one is so despicable.
I don't know.
The union probably wants to be able to lobby on him without having to report what their activities.
Actually, yeah. The lobby is probably against this, or the union, because they are lobbyists.
And they are. Proposition C, no, from the tenants union.
Well, here's some place where we have some agreement.
All right, well, maybe I need to reconsider that. I mean...
But they're evil lobbyists. There are good lobbyists as well.
There are good lobbyists.
So allowing freedom helps the good lobbyists.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if, you know...
I don't want registration fees for anything.
Right.
Okay, so number D. Shall the city increase the height limit for 10 of the 28 acres of the Mission Rock site from 1 story to height limits ranging from 40 to 240 feet? Sounds like more freedom. And make it city policy to encourage the development on the Mission Rock site, provided that it includes 8 acres of parks and open space and housing, of which at least 33% is affordable for low and middle income households.
No, certainly not. And not because I'm against parks. Parks are wonderful things. But if low income people need more housing, put houses where you would put parks so that they're more available. The more supply, the demand should, all other things equal, should make the price go lower for low income housing.
At the same time, they can't build anything now in this area above one story.
But then we need another ballot measure, but this one does not work.
So you're saying, so I'm kind of confused. I think this may be intentionally confusing, because if you're looking at this from a mathematical perspective, and you put parentheses around the sentence, it may be that they want to grant rights to build up to 240 feet and encourage development if these requirements are met. So the second clause may contain the if, but the if may also apply to the entire thing.
No, it's too conditional. I'm not for it, Stephen.
It's too confusing?
No, not confusing. It's too conditional. It makes the city council be the city planners and managers, when I think that should be left up to the market. What do the people need? What do the people supplying them think that they would like to provide? Let it be up to the free people. Don't just try and micromanage the housing in San Francisco. It won't work.
Well, I can't tell. Like, maybe they're saying, let's increase the limit regardless, because if it's regardless increasing the limit, I'm for it. But
no, it also doesn't sound like it to me.
And make the city policy to encourage development if these things are met.
No.
Yeah, it does sound a little sketchy.
I say try again next year. Propose raising the height limit,
and that's it.
Just do away with the height limit.
Raise the height limit.
Just don't even have one.
Sure, but raising it's fine too.
It's a step in the right direction. Do away with the whole thing.
Yeah, no more do away with it. So we don't want this to encourage, because if they put this in place, they're not going to try again for years, right? Yeah. So let's try again with the correct.
The correct one, fully correct one, because if you just raise the limit, think of all the investment that's going to go into adding two more floors to a building that might actually be able to withstand 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the wasted money that they can't then later reinvest.
All right. Well, what do you think the San Francisco Tenants Union has to say about this?
Oh, they're for it. I think they are so for it, because on its face appears that it's going to help low-income individuals with their housing problem and create more parks. And who doesn't love something that just sounds wonderful?
It's like,
but you have to think about it, and it is not actually wonderful.
You can have your park and eat it too.
Yeah. No, okay. This is going to come at the expense of low-cost housing.
You think they're going to be? So I would think that if they wanted to help low-income people, they would allow unfettered housing construction, right?
That is what would help
to alleviate the cost.
Yeah. Homeless people don't need more parks. They're already sleeping in parks.
But
they need houses.
This is allowing the construction of more housing.
At what expense, I wonder?
Well, so you think they're in favor of it, of Proposition D?
I expect that they are in favor of, isn't it Proposition D?
Yeah. Oh, they didn't vote on Proposition D.
Spineless.
All right. Well,
take a position.
It's hard to take a position on this one because it's intentionally vague. Okay, I like this next one. Proposition E. Well, okay, I'm a little bit torn because this requires the city to do something. But shall the city broadcast all city meetings live on the internet, allow members of the public to submit electronically during the meeting live written video or audio comments from any location, and require those comments be played, require pre-recorded video testimony to be played during a meeting, and allow the public or board, commission, or committee members to request that discussion of a particular agenda item begin at a specific time. So this is all about making government more efficient,
No.
more transparent.
More transparent and less efficient. I see lots of opportunities for monkey wrenching here.
Oh yeah, you could. I mean,
Think of
so many
what you
people could
could-
call in with it on this.
Yeah, you could pre-record off asking an exceptionally long question, have that asked of the city council every week. And besides, think of all the fun you could have as a media creator, sitting at home, watching these YouTube broadcasts, capturing them on your own video devices, and then repurposing them for your own needs. You could have the city councilors say silly things. You could rephrase questions from the general public. And you could also just use it for what it's intended for, informing the public of what's going on in local government.
So there's tons of people who are just obsessed with the federal government. They're watching the news all the time. They're watching Hillary do her thing, and they're obsessed, totally obsessed. They're watching TV all the time. I don't think it would be bad for them to shift attention, to have a compelling local government thing. If they're going to be thinking about it, why not? Let's create more independence from the rest of the area. Like, stop thinking about the federal government. Let's shift focus to the local issues.
I don't know. I may live to eat my words, but it's not too expensive to implement something like this. I mean, the city of Keene, a little podunk town of 20,000, is able to broadcast all of their city council.
Well, I think if they're going to raise $300 million for the construction of new housing, they can afford a few video cameras and some bandwidth. I'm a little bit torn, though, because this requires the city to do something.
A resounding yes from me.
A yes from Derek. All right. Well,
And I'll bet they're against it.
I think I'm going to wait till I see what the union is for or against.
I'll bet they're against it.
If they are against it, I'll vote for it. If they're for it, because I'm on the fence, I'll vote against it. And what do they have? Proposition E, they are opposed to transparency. Why do you think that is? I think it's because they don't want competition.
They don't want people. No, they don't want people to know what's going on in there.
Oh, right.
They want you to stay in the dark. What are they trying to hide?
That's the only reason they could. I mean, it's not that expensive. Yeah, they don't want people to know what's going on.
No.
Or normal people to be able to influence it.
Yeah, right now they've got it good because you can't object. You would have to go all the way to the meeting, stay through all the boring parts. This way, some YouTuber can just highlight the important things that are going on, and you can be informed. They don't want that.
Yeah.
What are they trying to hide?
All right. Forget what I said before. I'm resoundingly in favor of this proposition. I think this is the best one on the ballot.
I agree.
Okay. Well, let's.
What's next?
Quickly, we can take a break from the ballot measures to look at a few more candidates. We have 3 more positions: city attorney, district attorney, and treasurer. Now, a city attorney and district attorney, I don't care about treasurer. That seems completely unnecessary.
Oh, but they're the ones who siphon off all the funds.
But the funds are already, I don't know, they just watch the treasure, right? But
no, that's what they steal from. If they're not ethical, they could take the money.
It's already stolen. I mean, whatever. So they're going to use it for someone's purposes. Might as well be theirs. So, but district attorney and city attorney, that's really interesting because these are the people that prosecute the community members. Right?
Yeah, I would want someone with a terrible record of prosecuting people, or someone who has an excellent record of not prosecuting victimless criminals, like people who have open containers of alcohol or smoke a joint out on the street.
So these are the positions that I think are probably the most important to be aware of, and maybe the most effective, because a prosecutor can. I mean, the problem with this state is it comes down to them using force to throw people in prison. Prosecutors have the power to make that not happen.
They're the ones wielding the swords.
Fortunately for us, there is only one option for both. Oh, great. So you can either vote for Dennis Herrera or Dennis Herrera for city attorney.
No, those are your first, second, and third choices. There's George Gaskin, who's also running for city attorney.
That's district attorney.
Oh.
So
you have no choice.
there's no choice. You are being totally screwed over on this one, it sounds like. Why
didn't you run?
I'm not even old enough to run.
Oh.
How is this possible? How is no one running against these people? There's got to be an attorney somewhere. Maybe these people are all pro civil rights. I don't know. But there's got to be a better attorney somewhere. I would love to see someone run against them. It's kind of sad. Democracy in action. Okay.
Democracy.
We have 6 more ballot measures. F. Oh boy. And there's a sign right out the window that says, yes on F. Yes on F. Shall the city limit short-term rentals of housing unit to 75 days per year, regardless of whether the rental is hosted or unhosted? Require owners to provide proof that they authorize the unit as a short-term rental. Require residents who offer short-term rentals to submit quarterly reports on the number of days they live in the unit and the number of days a unit is rented. Prohibit short-term rentals of in-law units. Allow interested parties to sue hosting platforms, and make it a misdemeanor for a hosting platform to unlawfully list a unit as a short-term rental.
This one's a nightmare.
This is a complete violation of privacy, of property rights, of decency. It's disgusting to me. They want to prevent people from using their homes as they want. And they also want to make you report how often you live in your house and where you go and what you do with your time.
How is that any of their business?
This is none of their business. I bet the unions, though, think that this is part of their business.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What do you think?
They love to reach their hands into your private
business.
Yeah.
And we got a yes. We got a yes on F from the union. Who is
Big
this union?
Surprise.
SF Tenants Union. Okay, so they don't want people to be able to rent out their houses. I don't even know what to say. People who are in favor of this are just control freaks.
Yeah. Let your neighbor do what he wants with his own property. You can do what you want with your own property.
There you go. Well, maybe
the golden rule.
Maybe they're sour because they promoted schemes that ended up making them wage or rent slaves rather than owning their houses. All right, so got 5 more to go. G. Shall the city define? This one's a little silly. Renewable greenhouse gas-free electricity, quote, that's quotes, to mean electricity derived exclusively from certain renewable resources located within or adjacent to the California border, or electricity derived from Hetch Hetchy, except for electricity from other sources, such as rooftop solar and other large hydroelectric facilities. Require Clean Power SF to inform customers and potential customers of the planned percentage of renewable greenhouse gas-free emission electricity to be provided, and prohibit Clean Power SF from marketing, advertising, or making any public statement that its electricity is clean or green unless the electricity is renewable greenhouse gas-free electricity as defined in this measure.
No, certainly not. Governments should not have the power to define words.
Yeah, the state is defining words here, or someone is trying to get them to define words.
Yeah. No. They
This
should not have that power.
A little bit interesting. Maybe Clean Power SF is a government utility.
Who's Hetch Hetchy?
Hetch Hetchy is the reservoir where we get our water, and it also has a power plant.
Okay. So why should renewable greenhouse gas-free electricity only mean electricity derived from Hetch Hetchy? Or any of the other things? It seems like cronyism. Like, oh, I know someone from this organization and that organization, and since we have to be, quote unquote, renewable greenhouse gas-free electricity, then it should only mean these suppliers and no one else.
Only these suppliers.
Well, what about if I want to?
It's from your rooftop.
Yeah, what if I want to do it on my own?
That is exempt.
Okay. Well, what if I invent a new way to generate electricity?
Well, yours is in green.
Not by their definition, it wouldn't be.
Okay, so if you go up into Alameda and start a non on top of your house solar panel generation site, you cannot claim that it's greenhouse gas free.
Baloney. Screw you, state.
This is weird.
You don't have the power to define terms.
I need to look into Clean Power SF I can understand why people want consumers to have good information.
No, it seems like they have a favorite. It's the state picking favorites. They're saying we like these guys and we don't like these guys, so we want to impose a burden on them. We want to require Clean Power SF to da-da-da-da-da. We want to prohibit Clean Power SF from marketing, advertising, or making any public statements about its electricity.
One really sad thing about this is that it's like they're assuming that everyone in the city is so dumb, it may be true, that they'll pay way more for something that says clean when it's not clean. It sounds like that's what they're assuming about you. And I don't think you're that stupid. I think you can read articles online with information and make a decision for yourself.
Yeah, don't let the state do your thinking for you, please.
Yeah, okay. So I imagine that they just opted out. Yeah, they didn't choose to respond to this one. Okay. This is the big one. This is the one everyone's been waiting for. Shall the city suspend the issuance of permits on certain types of houses and business development projects in the Mission District for at least 18 months and develop a neighborhood stabilization plan for the Mission District by January 31st, 2017. First of all, why do they want to stabilize the Mission? Cities are dynamic, beautiful places with people moving in and out all the time. But everyone's always complaining about the high cost of rent here. And that's because they can't build new houses. There is a moratorium on building in the Mission and probably other places. And so they want to renew this moratorium on building houses. How does this help anyone?
It does not. I don't even know one person that it would help. For everyone to say, hey, just wait. Let us do the controlling here. You don't know what's in your best interest, so we, the city, will halt everything. No more building until we figure out what's best for everyone. The state bureaucrats don't know what's best for everyone. Nobody does.
Well,
admitting that is humility. It's up to the market to decide, and that's you and me, people who say, I want a house here for this price or I don't. Or people who are building houses to say, I can build a house for this much money. Do you want to pay that or not?
Well, I mean, the city probably isn't the one proposing this. It's probably a group of people who don't want more people in their neighborhood. Right? That must be it. I've heard many rumors that the top Democrat Party leaders in San Francisco are primarily focused on keeping people out.
That is who would benefit from this. You're right. If the city is no longer granting permission to build, then it's people who want things to stay the same.
Yeah. And the world's full of change. Plus, I can also see, look, they're trying to prevent businesses from being developed. Wonder who that helps. Do you think existing businesses that want to use the state to prevent their competitors from competing? Sounds a lot like it. I wonder who proposed this bill. What do you think the union says about this one?
Since they are for everything evil and state controlled, I'll bet they are for this.
They are most certainly pro this. Oh yes, Proposition I. This is the people who want your rent prices to continue to go up forever and charge you monopoly prices for the government services that they provide to you. So, yeah, I'm going to go with absolutely no Proposition I. It's awful. Okay. J, two more. Oh, geez. This whole state thing is exhausting. Proposition J, shall the city establish a legacy business historic preservation fund which would give grants to legacy businesses, this is CAP's legacy business, and to building owners who lease space to those businesses for terms of at least 10 years, and expand the definition of a legacy business to include those who have operated in San Francisco for more than 20 years. and are at a risk of displacement and meet other requirements for the registry.
My goodness, no.
Wow. So these are businesses that no one wants to patronize anymore. They're going out of business because they're out of style. They can't compete. There's other businesses that people want to spend their money at.
Yeah, I wonder if Blockbuster would qualify as a legacy business.
Blockbuster would qualify as a legacy business.
Do you think they should stay around just because they're old?
No.
No. Do you think that your money should be taken and given to old businesses that can't compete?
I do have an alternative proposal for this, though. So there's all these businesses that, they're doing business. They're serving customers. Maybe they're losing customers. Maybe they're regulated and taxed out of their mind. Maybe the property tax on their place is untenable. I'd say let's remove taxes on legacy businesses.
All businesses?
Sure, all businesses, but I'm fine with starting with these legacy businesses. Sure, don't raise a fund for them. Just stop taking their money. Let them stay in their space.
You know what that's going to make new businesses do? If you remove taxes from only legacy businesses, new businesses are simply going to buy old businesses so that they have no taxes as well.
Fine by me. I mean, an old business does not have to sell.
I'm just anticipating the consequence of that.
Okay, but then again, an old business doesn't need to sell. And if a new business is so much better that they have the revenue to buy an old business, and the old business wants to sell, I don't see a problem.
Fair enough.
All right. So I'm pro less taxes for these businesses. I'm not pro. I give my money to the businesses that I like to patronize.
Yeah, how about that's the idea? If you know of a failing business that you want to stay around, how about you patronize them?
Yeah, why don't you go the extra 2 blocks to the corner grocery store that's about to close down instead of going to Whole Foods?
Yeah, it's up to you to keep the businesses that you want to stay around, not the state. They can't do it.
We should remove those taxes from them. Yeah, for sure.
If we could.
Okay. What do you think? I don't know what they're going to be, if they're going to be in favor of this or not.
I would expect that since they don't like change and they don't like innovation, that they would be for this measure.
And they are anti-new businesses.
Yeah, they want old businesses. They want old everything. They want you to stick with Blockbuster and not use Netflix. So they're probably for this. What did they say?
I can see them being against this only on paper to make it seem like they're reasonable. But let's see, what did they say? Maybe they didn't even vote for it. Proposition J. Yes. Yes, they are in favor of Proposition J.
Knew it.
Interesting. Oh, dear. My battery's dying. Okay, we're almost done here. Shall the city, Proposition K, shall the city expand the allowable uses of surplus property to include building affordable housing for a range of households, for those who are homeless or those with very low income, to those with income up to 120% of the area median income, and for projects of more than 200 units, make some housing available for households earning up to 150% of the area median income.
I don't know what this means.
I have no idea what this means.
But since the first beginning of the proposition is, shall the city expand the allowable uses, I say yes.
I agree too. I think yes. Though, what is surplus property?
I don't know.
No one knows what that is. Maybe it's the city property, maybe it's other property. Though, so it's expanding the allowable uses. You probably still can't use surplus property for creating market rate homes, but it's expanding the allowable use.
That sounds good to me, but honestly, if a proposition is worded in a confusing way, I think perhaps its creators should be punished with a no vote.
This sounds a lot like the other one where they're saying like, we'll expand use, but only for these things that we want.
Yeah, I don't want to vote for something that I don't know what it is. So I change my answer and I say no to Proposition K.
Interesting. Well,
hey, if they wanted me to vote for it, they should have worded it in a way that was clearer.
I assume that the tenants union is in favor of this because it only allows this land to be used for low-income housing. And let's see. Yes, they are in favor of it. I just wonder, is this city That
makes me glad to be opposed.
City surplus property? Yeah, Yeah, I don't want the city to do anything with their surplus property. So I would really rather it just remain unusable, or sell it.
That's the better option.
Let's sell it. Let people build houses there. All right.
Well, I hope you feel more informed as a San Francisco voter.
I hope that you're not too terrified by the proposals here today. And let's cross our fingers that especially Proposition F is shot down. That one is disgusting. Let's hope that Proposition I is also shut down. And maybe Proposition E will be passed. That one I like. So thank you for tuning in to Free Talk SF. As always, dance like no one's watching. And encrypt like everyone's watching, because they are. And be free. Empathize with people around you. I know a lot of these bills, they're trying to help. Maybe they're trying to help, maybe they're not, but I can empathize with some of the objectives. I think we have a lot better ways of approaching these without the state. And be independent.